So now I'm near the end. I got one more to do, and I just wanted to save some time. When I was watching other people's video, I really fast forwarded through the middle part because that's not important. So here's the end, and the tie off and finish off is actually pretty important. So notice I got all the string left. Before I have this much string left, but on both sides, and that's just a waste of string, especially because I use string by the reel, and then it saves me a lot of string, which means I probably get another set or maybe half a set, which is good for me because I don't use, usually I hybrid, so that helps. So notice I use 2 clamps because I noticed that when I'm trying to tie it off, I lose tension right here. So I use 2 clamps to make it nice and tight, so that way I have less tension loss. So now here's the tie off, and I've seen a lot of different videos doing it a lot of different ways, and here's the way I do it. Let me see if I can get it going here. Hopefully I don't break this. Okay. I can tell that this is not the right side. This racket is... I haven't strung this racket. I actually don't even play with this racket. I'm just doing it mostly for show, so you guys can see how it's done. This is, by the way, 16 by 19. Not that it matters, but that's the string pattern. The only reason for the 16 by 19 being important is for whether you want to start here or start up here. So yeah, again, the tie off at the end, it's tricky. So here's what I do, and if you like it, great. If you don't, then that's okay. Have your own way, right? So I can already tell it's a little bit loose string right here. I don't know if you can see it. I need to tighten that up. And so what I do is I wrap it around once, and I kind of tug on it. And then when I do it that way, then it creates a little bit of resistance or friction. And now I gotta go down and tie this thing off, if I can get this thing going. Again, I think this is one of the more tricky things to finish off without losing a ton of tension, right? So that's my big thing, because I want it to be accurate. Okay, so that looked okay. I use that to tighten it up a little bit, and then I got one more knot that I gotta get. Usually I try to do the opposite direction. Hopefully that's what I did. I think I did do that. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so I'm done, and that's the way I do it. Again, all these things, I've tried different methods, watching other people's YouTube video. I haven't seen other people do it the way I do it, especially with this machine. There's some pros that do it with the stand-up machines, but not with this one. So, so let me get started with the crosses. So that feels pretty good. The crosses, I'm using a synthetic gut, so you guys can see the difference. There is actually a difference on the two. So when you do the polys, it's actually pretty straightforward. There's very little, I want to say sag. This thing's sagging down. Actually, I need to change this. I like a 55 on the mains and 65 on the crosses with this, the synthetic gut. So it's a little bit different. So let me just show you the difference. Let's see if I can figure out where to start here. Okay, there you go. The start off, again, trying to save string as well as just not being wasteful. So here it is. I do 2 turns, and so I got this O in my finger, right? 2 of them. 2 wrap around, and then I just go through it. And just to make sure, I wrap it around one more time. I do notice that I don't have to do this extra part, the last part, on the poly strings, but synthetic gut, since it's more stretchy, it tends to loosen a little bit easier. So also when I get it done like that, I just like to tighten it up just in case. Yeah, there we go, right? So we're good to go. Now let's get this thing going. Okay, I'll just do the start, and again I'll do the end. Because again, it's kind of a waste of your time to watch every single step. The middle is not particularly fun to watch or really important because it's just repetitive, right? So it's a lot softer and easier on the hands, the synthetic gut, especially at the end when you're trying to finish it off. The end is kind of a pain on the poly because it's just such a stiffer string. Working with it in tight spaces is not easy. So I'm just going to do this one, maybe one more, and clamp it down, and I'll finish it or near the end, and I'll show you how I tie it off. So this might be 3 videos, or it might be just one long one that I'll put all together. I think it'll end up being 3. I just don't have time. I think I'll put up another video later using the stand-up machine. So let me just talk about this machine. I really like it, but I did notice that if I really want an accurate one, exactly to the specs that I'm looking for, then I think the stand-up machine is better. But for recreational players like myself, it's not that big of a deal. So meaning my son tends to be a little bit more competitive, junior, and he wants, or he needs the strings to be a little bit more accurate and consistently the same tension. So in that case, it might be better off to use a stand-up machine. But if you really know what you're doing and really be aware of tension loss, I think this machine could be fine. If you get comfortable with it and know what you're doing. So this one, same idea. I'm going to use 2 clamps. Yeah, so here we go. And then after I do this, I think I'll pause the video. Okay, that looks good. Maybe I'll just do one more. You guys can get an idea how I switch things around. This clamp up here needs to be vertical because underneath it's actually hard to clamp. With these type of clamps at least. The stand-up machines, it's, you know, it's a little bit easier. But that stand-up machine that I got, I think, again, I bought it used for, I'm gonna say 200 or 250, I don't remember. But they totally pay for themselves. I mean, I think my friends, they pay $37 for the string and the stringing. I pay something like, well, depending on the string, right? We used a lot of Selenco stuff. Ends up becoming about $5 or $6 per stringing job, because the crosses we use slightly cheaper strings, because the mains are the ones that are doing all the work anyway. So we use slightly cheaper strings. Good strings, but cheaper strings. So I'll do one more, you guys can see, and then I'll pause it because I've got, what, 15 more to do? And that's a lot of strings to watch me going over and over and over again, right? So here we go. Let me just do one more. I'm sure there's other stringers that are way faster than me. I'm just a casual guy. I string for some friends sometimes, but most of the time the stringing jobs are for myself and my son, so I don't need to be that fast. The other thing I like about this machine is I can actually watch TV while I'm doing it. The stand-up one, I have to be in the garage. I actually do have a TV. I finally got a TV down there too, a small one. And then, yeah. But anyway, okay, I'll pause the video.